You're finally home. Everyone has been waiting for... Daniel, who is she?
Her name is Vanessa, and she's carrying my child.
Tell me this is some kind of joke. Please tell me you're joking.
For 10 years, I believed God refused to bless us because of me. You were the reason we never had children.
I just gave him what you never could. Did you ever think about getting yourself tested? Maybe the problem wasn't me. Maybe we've been blaming the wrong person all along.
I don't need a hospital to tell me I'm a real man. This baby is my answer. This baby is my proof.
One day, you'll remember. And when the truth finally reaches, you're strong enough to live with it.
The only truth is standing right beside me. Now get out of my life.
Welcome back. If you enjoy emotional stories with unforgettable twists,
Please like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Let's begin.
10 years. That's how long I loved Daniel with everything I had. 10 years of cooking his favorite meals, staying awake when he worked late, and holding his hand through every storm. We had built a life together, but there was one empty room in our home that broke my heart every single day. The nursery we never got to use. I wanted a baby more than anything. I visited hospitals, saw specialists, and sat in cold doctors' offices while they poked and prodded me. I attended prayer meetings on Wednesday evenings. My knees knew that wooden floor well. I even tried traditional remedies my grandmother swore by. I was willing to do anything. Daniel, please, I begged one evening, holding the referral papers the doctor had given me. Dr. Mensah said we should both go for tests. It's important. Daniel sat on the couch, scrolling through his phone. He didn't even look up. There's nothing wrong with me, Grace, he said flatly. Every man in my family has children. My father had 6. My brothers all have kids. The problem isn't coming from my side. His words stung, but I swallowed my frustration. The doctor said it could be either of us. It's nobody's fault. We just need to check. He finally looked at me and his eyes were cold. I said no. Stop pressuring me. If you want to keep going to hospitals, go ahead, but leave me out of it. I stood there holding those papers until they crumpled in my grip. I wanted to scream, to shake him, to make him understand that we were supposed to be a team. Instead, I nodded quietly and walked away. That was my mistake. I accepted his refusal when I should have demanded answers. Over the next few months, Daniel changed. He came home late without explanation. He stopped asking about my day. When I tried to hug him, his body felt stiff and distant. I told myself it was stress from work. I made excuses for him because I loved him. Then came the family gathering. My mother-in-law had organized a big dinner at her house. Relatives traveled from different towns. Uncles, aunties, cousins, everyone was there. I wore a blue dress Daniel had once said he loved. I did my hair carefully, hoping he might notice. I was still trying. The living room buzzed with laughter and conversation. Plates of jollof rice and fried chicken covered the dining table. I was helping serve drinks when the front door opened. Daniel walked in holding another woman, hand in hand. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. The woman was young, probably mid-20s, with long braids and bright red lipstick. Her belly was round and visibly pregnant. She clung to Daniel's arm like she belonged there. My heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. The glass in my hand started shaking. "Everyone," Daniel announced, his voice proud and loud, "I have wonderful news. This is Joy. She's carrying my child." Gasps filled the room. My mother-in-law's mouth fell open. Someone dropped a fork. Daniel turned to face me directly. His eyes held no sadness, no apology, only cruel satisfaction. "Do you see this, Grace?" he said, pointing at Joy's belly. "This pregnancy proves I have no fertility problems. The issue was always you. You wasted 10 years of my life." His words hit me like physical blows. I gripped the back of a chair to keep from collapsing. 10 years of love, sacrifice, and faithfulness reduced to this public humiliation. "After everything I did for you, Daniel," I whispered, my voice cracking. "All the doctors, the treatment, the prayers, you do this to me?" "You did those things because you were the broken one, not me. Joy here is giving me what you never could." I looked around the room. Some relatives stared at me with pity. Others, and this hurt most, nodded as if I truly were the failure he claimed. Tears burned my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I would not give him that satisfaction. With trembling fingers, I removed my wedding ring and placed it on the coffee table. "One day, Daniel," I said, quietly, looking straight into his eyes, "the truth will reveal itself. And when it does, you will regret this moment." He laughed, actually laughed. "The only thing I regret is not leaving you sooner." I walked out of that house with nothing but my dignity. No dramatic exit, no screaming match. Just the sound of my heels clicking on the floor and my heart shattering into pieces too small to ever put back together. That night, alone in our empty house, I fell to my knees and sobbed until I had no tears left. I replayed every moment of our marriage, searching for signs I had missed. Had I failed somehow? Was I truly not enough? By morning, I made a decision. I would not beg. I would not fight. I would let him go. The divorce was finalized 3 weeks later. Daniel married Joy before the ink was even dry. I moved into a small apartment, got a quiet job, and focused on healing. Some days I felt strong. Other days grief hit me like a wave and pulled me under. But slowly, breath by breath, I began to rebuild my life from the rubble Daniel had left behind. I had no idea that the truth was already on its way, and it would shake his world far harder than he had ever shaken mine. The day I signed the divorce papers, my hands shook so badly I could barely hold the pen. My lawyer, a kind woman named Mrs. Okafor, placed her hand gently on my shoulder. "Are you sure you don't want to fight for anything? The house, the car, the joint savings. You have rights, Grace." I shook my head. "I don't want anything from him. I just want peace." She looked at me with sad eyes but didn't argue. That same afternoon, I packed my belongings into 2 suitcases. 10 years of marriage reduced to 2 bags. I left my wedding dress hanging in the closet. I left every photo, every gift, every memory. My sister picked me up. She didn't say a word when I climbed into her car. She just held my hand and drove. For the first few weeks, I barely functioned. I woke up reaching for Daniel's side of the bed only to find cold sheets. I caught myself cooking for 2. I dialed his number twice before remembering I had deleted it. "You need to go see a therapist," my sister said one Saturday morning, dragging me out of bed. "You can't keep drowning like this." She was right. I started seeing a counselor. I returned to my job at the bank. I joined a support group for women who had gone through divorce. Every small step felt like climbing a mountain, but I kept climbing. Meanwhile, Daniel was living what he thought was paradise. He bought Joy a luxurious house in the nicest part of town. He gave her credit cards with no limits. He filled her closet with designer clothes and her jewelry box with diamonds. His social media exploded with photos of them together, his hand proudly resting on her pregnant belly. "Finally, a real woman," he wrote in one caption. The post had hundreds of likes. I didn't see it myself. I had blocked him everywhere. But my cousin told me, her voice full of disgust. "He's a fool, Grace," she said. "Everyone knows he's showing off to hurt you. Don't let it work." I nodded, but the pain still cut deep. He had never posted a single photo of me during our entire marriage. What Daniel didn't know was that Joy's perfect act was exactly that, an act. Behind his back, she lived a completely different life. Joy had a secret boyfriend named Kellen. They had been together for 3 years before she met Daniel. Kevin wasn't wealthy, but he was clever. When Joy told him about the rich older man who had started pursuing her, Kevin's eyes lit up with opportunity. "This guy is loaded," Joy whispered to Kevin during one of their secret meetings. Kevin leaned back in his chair, grinning. "So what's the plan?" "I'm already pregnant," Joy said, placing her hand on her stomach. "Your baby, but Daniel doesn't need to know that. He's so eager to believe he's a father, he won't ask questions." Kevin's grin widened. "You're saying we let him think it's his?" "Exactly. He marries me, I get access to everything, and we take him for everything we can. The house, the money, the business, then we disappear together." Kevin pulled her close. "I love the way you think." Their plan was simple and cruel. Use the fake pregnancy to trap Daniel, gain his trust, take his wealth, leave him with nothing. At first, everything went perfectly. Daniel was so blinded by pride that he never questioned anything. He didn't ask for proof. He didn't request a DNA test. He was so convinced that Grace had been the problem that Joy's pregnancy felt like victory. "You're giving me what she never could," Daniel told Joy one evening, stroking her hair. Joy smiled sweetly. "Because I'm a real woman." Inside, she was counting the days until she and Kevin could take everything. But cracks began to appear sooner than expected. A few months into the marriage, Daniel started noticing strange behavior. Joy constantly hid her phone screen when he walked into the room. She took phone calls outside, whispering urgently. She made shopping trips that lasted 5 hours, but came home with no bags. "Where were you today?" Daniel asked one afternoon when she walked through the door. "Shopping," she said quickly, but took a longer step forward. "With no bags?" She hesitated for just a second. "I didn't find anything I liked." Daniel wanted to believe her. The baby was due soon, and he had already painted the nursery blue. He had already chosen a name, Daniel Jr. He had already told everyone at his office that he was going to be a father. His pride wouldn't let him see the truth. So he ignored the signs. He silenced the voice in his head that whispered something was wrong. He convinced himself that Joy's odd behavior was just pregnancy hormones. But the truth has a way of surfacing. It waits patiently in the darkness, gathering strength until the moment is right. And when it finally breaks free, it destroys everything. That moment was coming for Daniel, and nothing could stop it. The call came on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. I was at work reviewing loan applications when my phone buzzed with a message from my cousin. "Joy had the baby. It's a boy." My fingers froze over the keyboard. I had known this day would come. I had prepared myself mentally, but reading those words still felt like a knife twisting in my chest. I put my phone face down on my desk and took 3 deep breaths. I would not cry. I had already given Daniel too many tears. He didn't deserve one more. "Are you okay?" my coworker Emma asked, rolling her chair toward me. "I'm fine," I said, forcing a smile. The truth was, I was better than fine. In the years since the divorce, I had rebuilt myself piece by piece. I had been promoted at work. I had started volunteering at a children's shelter on weekends. And I met someone, a kind, honest man named Samuel, who worked as a pharmacist. Samuel was nothing like Daniel. He didn't make grand promises or show off with expensive gifts. He simply showed up every single time. "I don't want to rush into anything," I told him during our 3rd date. My last relationship ended badly. Samuel nodded. I understand, but for the record, I believe in being completely open with each other. No secrets, no assumptions. If we're going to build something real, we both need to be all in. Those words meant everything to me. Meanwhile, across town, Daniel was living in a bubble of joy that was about to burst. The hospital room was filled with balloons and flowers. Daniel held the newborn baby in his arms, tears streaming down his face. The boy had a full head of dark hair and tiny clenched fists. My son, Daniel whispered, rocking the baby gently. My beautiful son, Daniel Jr. Joy lay in the hospital bed looking exhausted but satisfied. Kevin wasn't there, of course. He was waiting at their secret apartment, counting the days until Joy could access Daniel's accounts and they could run away together. Everything seemed perfect until the doctor walked in. Dr. Patel was a serious woman with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. She held a clipboard and wore a concerned expression. Mr. Daniel, we need to discuss some test results. Daniel barely looked up from the baby. Everything is fine, right? He's healthy? The baby is healthy, Dr. Patel confirmed. But during the delivery, we noticed some medical complications that required us to run routine tests. Standard procedure. Okay, Daniel said, still not concerned. What kind of tests? Dr. Patel hesitated. This was the part she hated. One of the tests was a DNA analysis. It's sometimes necessary when we need to confirm certain genetic markers for the baby's health. Daniel finally looked up. DNA analysis? For what? Mr. Daniel, Dr. Patel said gently, the results show that you are not the biological father of this child. The room went completely silent. Even the machines seemed to stop beeping. Daniel stared at the doctor as if she had spoken a foreign language. That's impossible. There must be a mistake. There's no mistake. The test is over 99% accurate. The baby began to cry, as if sensing the storm about to break. A nurse quickly took the child from Daniel's trembling arms. Daniel turned to Joy, his face shifting from confusion to fury. What is she talking about, Joy? What is this? Joy's face had gone pale. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. I don't know. Maybe the test is wrong. These things happen. The test is not wrong, Dr. Patel said firmly. I'm sorry to deliver this news. I'll give you both some privacy. The door clicked shut. Daniel stood over Joy's bed, his hands shaking with rage. Tell me the truth, right now. Joy tried to maintain her lie. Daniel, I swear, I don't know how this happened. There must be. Who is the father? His shout echoed through the room. Joy flinched. She realized there was no more room for lies. The mask crumbled. His name is Kevin, she whispered. He's my boyfriend. We planned this together. The pregnancy, the marriage, everything. We just wanted your money. Daniel staggered backward as if she had shot him. You planned this from the beginning? You are so easy to fool, she said, her voice suddenly cold. You are so desperate to prove you weren't the problem. You never even asked questions. You just believed everything I told you. He thought of Grace. Her face flashed in his mind. The day of the family gathering, the hurt in her eyes when he humiliated her. She had stood there quietly while he bragged about another woman's pregnancy, and the baby wasn't even his. Get out, he said, his voice barely a whisper. Daniel, get out of my sight. Joy scrambled out of the bed, grabbing her things. Within hours, she was gone. Back to Kevin, leaving Daniel alone with the ruins of his foolish pride. But the worst was still coming, because Daniel had one more truth to face, the one he had been running from his entire life. The days after Joy left were a blur of darkness. Daniel locked himself in his big, empty house. He didn't answer phone calls. He didn't go to work. He sat in the nursery he had painted with his own hands, staring at the empty crib. Blue walls, white furniture, a mobile with tiny stars hanging from the ceiling. He had built this room for a son who was never his. The silence was deafening. 1 week after Joy left, Daniel's brother Michael came to check on him. He found Daniel sitting on the floor of the nursery, unshaven, eyes red from crying. "Daniel, you need help," Michael said, kneeling beside him. "This isn't healthy." "I destroyed my life," Daniel whispered. "I had a good woman, a faithful wife, and I threw her away for a lie." Michael was quiet for a moment. He had never approved of how Daniel treated Grace, but seeing his brother broken like this was painful. "There's something I need to do," Daniel said suddenly, his voice stronger. "Something I should have done years ago." The next morning, Daniel walked into a fertility clinic, the same clinic Grace had begged him to visit countless times. The receptionist recognized his name from Grace's old records. "Mr. Daniel, your wife used to come here alone. We always asked her to bring you." He couldn't meet the woman's eyes. "I know, I'm here now." The tests took an hour. The waiting took 3 days. When Daniel finally sat in the specialist's office to receive his results, his leg bounced with nervous energy. Dr. Okonkwo was an older man with grey hair and a calm voice. He opened the file folder on his desk and looked at Daniel with professional sympathy. "Mr. Daniel, I've reviewed your results thoroughly. I want to explain this clearly." Daniel nodded, gripping the arms of his chair. "You have a condition called azoospermia, specifically non-obstructive azoospermia. This means your body does not produce sperm at all." The words hung in the air like smoke. Daniel couldn't breathe. "You're telling me I can't have children?" "Naturally, no. It's a medical impossibility. This condition isn't something that developed recently. It's something you are likely born with. It has always been present." Always. The word echoed in Daniel's skull. Always. From the very beginning. From the first year of his marriage. From every single time he had blamed Grace. He told her she was the problem. He humiliated her in front of his whole family. He brought another woman into our home and rubbed her pregnancy in Grace's face. And the whole time, it was him. Daniel broke. He didn't just cry. He sobbed, deep, ugly, uncontrollable sobs that shook his entire body. Years of pride, arrogance, and cruelty collapsed on top of him all at once. "I told her she was the problem," he choked out. "I humiliated her in front of my whole family. I brought another woman into our home and rubbed her pregnancy in Grace's face. And the whole time, it was him." Dr. Okonkwo said nothing. Some truths didn't need commentary. Daniel stumbled out of the clinic and sat in his car for 2 hours. His phone buzzed with messages and missed calls, but he ignored them all. He stared at the steering wheel, replaying every moment of his marriage. He remembered Grace cooking his favorite meals. She always remembered how much pepper he liked. He remembered her staying up late, waiting for him to come home from work. She would rub his shoulders and ask about his day. He remembered the day of the family gathering, the way she removed her wedding ring so quietly, so calmly, while he laughed at her pain. "One day, the truth will reveal itself," she had said. She was right. She had always been right. Daniel grabbed his phone and dialed his mother. "I need to find Grace," he said urgently. Do you know where she is? Her mother hesitated. Daniel, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Please, Mom, I have to make things right. Some things can't be fixed, she said sadly. But I'll give you what I know. She moved to the east side of town. She's doing well from what I hear. Very well. Daniel didn't wait. He started driving immediately. His mind raced with apologies, explanations, desperate hopes for forgiveness. He would get on his knees if he had to. He would beg. He would do anything. He still believed he could fix this. He still believed love could undo the damage he had caused. But life had already moved on without him, and Grace had found something he could never give her: genuine happiness built on truth and trust. I was in the kitchen when Samuel walked in holding his phone with a strange expression. Grace, someone's at the gate asking for you. Says his name is Daniel. The spoon I was holding clattered into the pot of stew. My heart didn't race with longing. It didn't flutter with hope. Instead, a cold, quiet stillness settled over me. Do you want me to send him away? Samuel asked, his voice protective but gentle. I wiped my hands on a towel. No, I'll talk to him, but come with me. Samuel nodded. That's what I loved about him. He didn't get jealous or controlling. He simply stood beside me. We walked to the front gate together. And there he was, Daniel, the man who had been my whole world for 10 years. He looked terrible. His shirt was wrinkled, dark circles ringed his eyes. He had lost weight. He looked nothing like the proud man who had humiliated me at that family gathering. When he saw me, his eyes filled with tears. Grace, thank God, I've been searching for you everywhere. I didn't move toward him. What do you want, Daniel? He gripped the gate bars like a prisoner. I need to talk to you. Please, just 5 minutes. I looked at Samuel, who gave a slight nod. I opened the gate, but didn't invite Daniel inside. Say what you came to say. Words poured out of him like water from a broken dam. He told me about Joy's betrayal, about Kevin, about the DNA test that proved the baby wasn't his, about Joy admitting the whole marriage had been a scam for his money. I listened without interrupting. When he finished, I simply said, I'm sorry that happened to you. Daniel seemed confused by my calm reaction. Don't you understand? Everything I accused you of was wrong. I was the problem this whole time. I know, I said quietly. He froze. You know? I always suspected it wasn't my fault. I went through every test imaginable while we were married. Every single one came back normal. The doctors kept asking me to bring you, but you refused. Deep down, I knew. Daniel's face crumbled. He went to the clinic. He finally got tested. I have a condition. It's called azoospermia. I can't have children, Grace. It was me. It was always me. I waited for the wave of satisfaction to hit me. I waited to feel vindicated, to feel the sweet taste of revenge, but it never came. All I felt was sadness. Sadness for the years we had wasted. Sadness for the love he had destroyed. I came here to apologize, his voice breaking. I was cruel. I was arrogant. I humiliated you in front of everyone we knew. I blamed you for something that was my fault. And I am so, so sorry. I forgive you, I said. Daniel looked up, shocked. You do? I forgave you a long time ago, not for your sake, but for mine. Holding on to anger would have destroyed me. I chose to let go. Hope flickered in his eyes. Then maybe we could... No, Daniel. My voice was gentle but firm. Forgiveness doesn't mean going back. It doesn't mean forgetting what happened. You didn't just hurt me. You humiliated me. You made me feel worthless. You threw away 10 years of marriage without a second thought. I can forgive you, but I can never trust you again. At that moment, as if on cue, Samuel placed his hand on my shoulder. Daniel's eyes dropped to my belly. Only then did he notice I was pregnant, 5 months along, glowing with new life. His face went pale. You're expecting? Yes, I said, placing my hand over my stomach. We're having a daughter. But I thought... He stopped, realizing the irony before he could finish. Before Samuel and I got married, we both went for medical tests together, honestly, with no secrets, no blame, and here we are. Daniel's legs seemed to give out. He stumbled backward, grabbing the gate for support. The woman he had called Barren was pregnant. The wife he had thrown away was building the family he had always dreamed of, and he was completely, utterly alone. "I still love you," he whispered desperately. "I never stopped." "You didn't love me, Daniel. You loved what I did for you. You loved how I made you feel. But real love doesn't humiliate. Real love doesn't blame. Real love seeks the truth together." He had no response. What could he possibly say? "I hope you find peace. I hope you learn from this. But my life is here now, with my husband and our baby. Please don't come back." I turned and walked back into the house, Samuel's arm around my shoulders. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Daniel drove home in silence. His big, luxurious house felt like a tomb. The nursery he had painted for a son who wasn't his stood empty. The rooms echoed with the ghosts of mistakes he could never undo. He sat in his living room, surrounded by expensive furniture and meaningless possessions. He had wealth, he had status, but he had lost the one thing that truly mattered, a woman who had loved him completely. And the hardest lesson of all was this: blaming others without seeking the truth can destroy the very people who love you most. And sometimes, when the truth finally arrives, the chance to make things right is already gone. Thank you for watching this emotional story. If it touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more powerful life lessons. Have you ever been blamed for something that wasn't your fault? Share your experience in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, remember, seek truth, practice kindness, and never let pride destroy the love you've been blessed with.